Chapter 3. The Sweet Taste of First Love. Days passed by, and finally Dory started her secondary school education. As usual, Dory, with her all-time charm, being admired by everyone, from teachers to students. She was serious with her studies, with a dream of making her parents proud, and she always gets good grades. The corridors of Dory's secondary school were alive with the sound of chatter, laughter, and the clatter of worn shoes on dusty tiles. Students rushed to classes, exchanging secrets and smiles, while the sun poured golden streaks through the tall windows. By the time Dory reached her final year of secondary school, she was no longer the shy little girl who baked cupcakes for fun. She had grown into a young woman with grace, quiet confidence, and eyes that carried both innocence and curiosity about life. Her teachers noticed how she had matured, focused, but also more thoughtful. The boys in school noticed too. There was something about Dory that didn't scream for attention, but drew it effortlessly. She was beautiful, yes, but not in the loud, show-off way. Hers was the kind of beauty that made you pause, natural, calm, and magnetic. She balanced her academics with her creative passions. If she wasn't in class, you'd find her sketching dresses for imaginary runways, practicing her model walk in the empty corridors, or baking muffins in the dormitory kitchen with her friends. Everyone knew her as the girl with big dreams. But beneath all the dreams and laughter, Dory was still naive about the world of love. She had seen girls around her fall for boys. Some cried, some bragged, others whispered secrets late into the night. Dory used to smile and say, "Love is for grown people. I have time." And then came Mike, a new face in familiar halls. Mike was a transfer student. Tall, neat, and effortlessly charming. His uniform was always perfectly ironed, his handwriting was ridiculously neat, and he had that smile that could melt confidence right off a girl's face. He wasn't loud, but his presence filled the room. The first time Dory noticed him was during a debate competition. He stood confidently before the crowd, speaking about choices and consequences. His voice had that calm authority that made even the teachers nod. Dory admired that. After the event, he walked past her desk and said, "You did great as timekeeper. You have that kind of face that belongs on TV, you know?" Dory laughed shyly. "You're funny. I'm just good with the stopwatch." "Maybe," Mike said, smiling, "but I think you're meant for more." That sentence echoed in her mind for days. The little things. What began as small talks turned into longer conversations. He started walking her halfway to the dorm, carrying her books sometimes, cracking jokes that made her blush. He called her Miss Model, and she called him Mr. Debate. Mike wasn't just handsome. He had a way with words. He asked about her dreams, listened when she spoke, and made her feel seen in ways she never had before. He would say things like, "When you talk about your dreams, your eyes light up. That's rare. Don't let anyone kill that fire." For a girl who had grown up craving understanding, those words meant more than he could imagine. Dory started saving her pocket money to buy small gifts for him. A wristband here, a pen there. In return, Mike would also buy her chocolates, a note slipped into her locker, "I hope you smile today," and sometimes shared sandwich at lunch. The girls in her dorm teased her endlessly, but she didn't care. It felt right. The confusion called love. As weeks passed, Dory's feelings deepened. She didn't call it love at first. It was something softer, something that felt like safety. Mike had a way of making her feel like she mattered. But slowly, that comfort grew into something stronger. She started daydreaming during class, sketching his initials without realizing it. She'd stay up late rereading his notes, wondering if he felt the same way. He did, or at least he said he did. One evening after school, Mike asked her to meet him behind the school garden. The sun was setting, painting the sky in soft orange and pink. Dory's heart was racing as she walked toward him, her palms sweaty, her mind full of what-ifs. Mike smiled when he saw her. "Dory, you make me happy," he said quietly. "I've never felt like this before." She looked down, smiling nervously. "You're just saying that." He shook his head. "No, you're special. You're different." And then, for the first time, he held her hand. Her world stilled. Everything she'd ever seen in love movies, every story she'd overheard about romance, it was all happening right there. The relationship. From that day on, they were inseparable. They ate lunch together, studied together, even shared a secret notebook where they wrote little notes to each other. Dory had always been careful, but Mike made her let her guard down. He wasn't pushy, he was patient, and that patience made her trust him more. He would tell her about his dreams, becoming an engineer, making money, building a home one day. "You'll bake in our kitchen," he once joked, "and I'll build your bakery right next to it." Dory laughed. "You're crazy." "Crazy for you," he said, and she couldn't help but smile. It all felt perfect. Too perfect. The turning point. It was few months before their final exams that things began to change. The school was quieter, routines looser. One weekend, Mike asked her to meet him at a friend's place. He said they'd be alone to talk and celebrate the end of secondary education. Dory hesitated. She'd never been to a boys' place before. But Mike reassured her, told her he respected her and that nothing bad would happen. She went. The house was small but tidy. Music played softly in the background. They talked for a while, laughed, and reminisced about school. Then, as moments grew softer and silences longer, things started to shift. Mike moved closer, his words slower, his gaze deeper. Dory's heart raced. She was nervous, unsure, scared, but also trusting. "Do you trust me?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes." And in that moment, love and innocence collided. That day changed everything. Dory walked home with mixed emotions, fear, confusion, and something she couldn't name. She kept telling herself it was fine. He loved her. He said so. But deep down, something felt different, fragile. Days turned into weeks, and Mike's calls became fewer. His tone changed. He was distant, cold. Dory tried to ignore it, blaming school stress, blaming herself, blaming anything but him. Chapter 4.